Good morning. If you don't know anyone personally, right now there are a lot of people going through struggles. And there's a lot of suffering and grief in the world, which you can tell just by watching the news, reading the paper, going online. The situation in Eastern Europe, here in our country, in other parts of the world, is enough to really stress people out. And then, of course, you know people in your own circle, family members, friends, who are dealing with life issues, transitional choices, dealings with health and terminal illness, and the grief sometimes can be overwhelming. We don't often know what to do when people we love are suffering. We feel helpless, and in many ways, really almost of no use at all. That how could my presence alone be enough of a gift, enough of an offering, enough of a support? We're entering into Holy Week right now, and here we have the example of Jesus himself, suffering, struggling to the point where theologians who translate from the Hebrew will say that the words that were used to describe Jesus in the garden the night before he died as extremely stressed, agitated to the point of deep anxiety, hand-wringing, profuse sweating, accelerated heartbeat, just overall where the emotions feel like they could kill him. We have all been there, and if not in our own lives, in the lives of our friends. And Jesus takes 3 of his closest buddies deeper into the garden and says, "Will you be with me during this time of great suffering?" Jesus is begging for there to be another way out of this dilemma. He doesn't want to die. He doesn't want to die like this. How many times in your own life have you felt that way? You don't want this to be the way it is. Isn't there another way that this reality can take place? Isn't there something else that can be done that would deal with the issue in a similar fashion, but that you wouldn't have to go through what you're going through? And sometimes it feels like God is silent. Jesus is struggling in the same way. Isn't there another way this can be done? And feels like God is silent. What good are his friends? They can't take the suffering away. They can't fix it. They can't find an alternative. They can't make Jesus not suffer. And in fact, it's probably horrifying for them to see this calm, cool God that they know, man that they love, someone that they've walked with and worked with for so many times and so many years, now unnerved. It's probably unnerving them. Sometimes we may feel like we wish we were with Jesus himself. How could I help? This sense that we are without answers, and yet wanting to do the right thing. This tension between needing to take the action in front of us and not wanting to. This is so real. And it doesn't just happen once or twice in our life, does it? It happens often. And if it doesn't happen to us, it happens to the people we love, which is just as bad. We feel like we're going through it, groaning beneath the weight of this burden ourselves. Jesus has been there. Jesus understands, feeling like you've got your back against the wall, the tension of not wanting to do what you've got to do, and yet taking the step forward. There's so much mystery involved in the suffering we experience in this world. Why do we need to do it alone? Reach out to someone, and allow, if someone reaches out to you, allow your presence to be enough. You don't have to be wise and have the answers and fix it. But deep in the heart of all of our suffering is the presence of Jesus, who understands what it feels like to be isolated and racked with grief and not knowing a way forward. Jesus, our closest companion.